Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Let's just see here. Just looking over my news for the last time this morning. Just looking over the news for the last time before we get going. All right. Anything exciting happened last night, guys? You guys doing anything exciting over in the afternoon during that slow market? Watched it, okay. Yep. All right. Well, I'm looking through a few of these markets right now. Really pretty quiet, in the indexes here. Pretty quiet on the indexes. The NASDAQ, one of the big reasons the NASDAQ, a lot of the NASDAQ is Apple. And so goes Apple, so goes the NASDAQ. So when Apple's on a big tear like that, NASDAQ's not really likely to have a pullback. So, such as yesterday, whenever you've seen the NASDAQ pushing higher. Yeah, so that's it has a big part to do with the NASDAQ. So. All right, looking over some of these other plays here. There's like things like the dollar. Things like the dollar. Just checking them out here. Not really doing much. Kind of consolidating up here. Popped up and has been consolidating the last probably 2 or 3 sessions. Bonds, yeah, I'm interested in bonds. We have a play on there in swing trading, the options program. So we do keep a pretty close eye there on the bonds at all times. Keep a close eye on the bonds just to make sure we're on the same page, Let's see here. I'm looking over the other instruments like Dow and whatnot. And I don't know. We'll go ahead and we're going to lay everything out here this morning. We're going to go ahead and have the next little talk and do all our drawings here. I've erased everything, and we'll go back and we'll redraw, and we'll just do it together, Does that work well for you? We'll get started here in just about a minute or two. Get a little bit long-winded this morning, and let's see here. Okay.
Well, you see the 20 plus carries and then the record, and you see what has happened. That means that your offense is going well. So the question is, are you now ready to build your offense in a different manner as opposed to running back? Are they a team without them? Yes, I do believe that they are because of a lot of.
All right. I'll stop looking at. I'm just looking over some of these positions and some stuff I see. Some positions we put on last night and what I see them doing today and all this. So I'm just kind of double checking here, guys. Just kind of double checking here. But anywho, let's go ahead and let's kind of start yapping about some of this stuff here. Do you guys? I got asked yesterday to use minute charts. I'm not going to do it on one individual's recommendation. I've bounced back and forth before. I'm not going to do it on one recommendation, but if there's a large majority of you that would prefer a certain time frame or would prefer, I'm going to have multiple time frames. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set my foot down there. I'm always going to have that, or I'm always going to watch that. But is this group overwhelmed with time-based charts or tick-based charts? I don't think there's a few range-based and volume charts out there. There's a couple volume profiles, but what are we doing in here, guys? Do you guys prefer the minutes, like a 15-minute and a 2-minute, or a 5-minute, or do you guys like the idea of the tick charts? And I would, any type of feedback I'd appreciate, guys, because usually whenever I get the recommendations, I like to bounce it around, guys. I really like to get some ideas from you guys, and so we can maybe help out. So any feedback, guys, I appreciate. I really do. Okay, I'm getting some feedback. Let's see what they say here. All right. I'm getting the. I agree, Darlene. One of the reasons I do use tick is for volume, but if we did go to a minute-based bar, it would look something like this. This would be what it looked like, and we would absolutely have volume on it. So if you can see an increase in volume here or not, we would absolutely be using volume in a situation like that, but I understand where you're coming from because that's how I feel too. But anyways, I'm getting an overwhelming, let's see here. I'm getting an overwhelming, guys. I think ticks are going to win this thing out. Tick-based charts. So thanks, guys. I always want to kind of stay in touch with you guys, see what you guys are liking, see what you don't like, and so far, unless there's a group that kind of comes in the opposite way, I'm seeing overwhelming tick. Actually, to be completely honest with you, there's a unanimous tick. There was only 8 or 9 of you that actually wrote in, but that's enough. That's enough to get a good start and understanding. So that's enough for me, guys. That's enough for me. Darlene did say something about maybe for the longer time frames, use some time-based, but anything shorter, definitely tick, and I agree. I agree with her. I'm going to stick to the daily chart. Darlene, I'm going to maybe stick to maybe this formula, or maybe I'll pop a 5 or 15 minute here in the midpoint. That might be something we can easily do. Pop a 5 or 15 minute chart in here so we can see it, but we always keep the tick for the trading. That might make a little bit of sense here and be a little bit easier for us. But thanks, guys, for feedback. That's very helpful. So anytime I get a question asked or something gets brought to my attention, I like to at least entertain the idea. So anywho, that's what we just did. So we're done. Yeah, Cliff, 15 minutes is a good longer time frame. Yeah, I always like to talk whenever we're in here. I do a lot of my 15-minute chart's the one right above this monitor. So my 15-minute, you have this monitor here that we trade off of together, and then literally right above this monitor, there's a whole monitor that's nothing but 15-minute charts. So my eyes are on it just as much. My eyes are on that 15-minute monitor as much as they are on this monitor, and maybe more at times. A lot of times I'm just looking up there, and I keep bouncing around and blowing charts up and shrinking them down and this and that. So I agree. 15 minutes is a pretty good time frame to get a good idea of what's going on and what the markets are doing, what they're not doing. Are they extended? That had a big factor on that Russell trade we took yesterday. You guys remember that Russell trade, that one that we made nice money there at the very, very bottom. Did we look for that thing to go down to the 23%? No. And the reason was because we were so extended on that 15-minute chart. I chose to just take profits at the swing low. So little stuff like that is very beneficial, and always helps to have a little extra set of eyes. So there we go. All right, so what is it? It's Wednesday, right, guys? Let's look at some news. Let's look at some news really fast, and then I plan to go through all these markets, so we got to get going here. All right, let's see here. Let's go to Mr. Forex Factory, and let's take a look here. Let's take a look here. We're on Forex Factory. All right, so no, this is not today. We do not have unemployment claims today. That's tomorrow. Okay, so let's go back a day. Here we go. Crude oil. That's it. So as you guys see here, crude oil, that would be it. Crude oil inventory numbers. Crude oil. An hour after the open here. Crude oil inventory numbers. That's all we have to worry about this morning. Makes for a very, very nice day. Okay. Crude oil, hour after the open, that's all we have to worry about, guys. So that makes our life very easy in here today. That makes our life very easy. So let's go ahead and let's actually start with the S&P. And you see we're still at resistance. I don't even think we need to talk too much about the daily chart. Let's go dissect some levels that we could see the market respect today. Let's dissect a few levels that we could see this market respect today. Most clearly, you can see these highs. We know about these highs, guys. You got the highs. Absolute resistance. We all know that. Put that up there. Make it nice and red so we know it's resistance. And bingo. So we have that level. We know that's a really good resistance. Okay. I see a couple other things here that are going to interest us, but they're going to be further down here. And I don't want to get scared away from trading by putting too much stuff on here. But we'll put a little bit on here just to keep us honest when it comes to trading. We'll put a few things on here just to keep us honest when it comes to trading. If there are some attachments here. You see, we got some a couple trend lines that are holding. Couple trend lines that are holding, and then as you guys know, we have one specific tool that I like to use oh so much. Where's the trend in this particular this direction? Trend is up, right? We got momentum to the upside just based on the moving averages. I'm going to take from the most recent anchor, take it on up, and see where we can find some support. So if you look at this chart, we're really stuck, and I don't like that because, you know, I don't want to scare anybody off from trading. But let's be honest, there are some things that we kind of need to break to get this thing to move. We see a pretty clear level right here of support, right? A pretty clear level here of support. We have rising trend line. And we also have some fibs here, all at the same level. So if we get that market to trickle down there, look to play a bounce off of it. Or if we trickle back up here, look to fade the highs. Anything through the highs, you know we're going with it. No doubt about it. Okay? Anything through the highs, we're going to go ahead and go with it. Break through the lows, absolute short. The only issue that we're going to have here with looking at long opportunities right here is that we're going to have the moving averages roll over and the shorter time frame coming right down on top of this market. So it's going to appear to be a very, very, very healthy short right here. And that's going to be a little bit more difficult simply because we have all this, we have moving averages coming down on top of us, support coming up underneath us, and we're kind of stuck in this goofy zone here. So that's something we'll have to deal with when it comes here. That's something we'll have to deal with when the market gets to that area. But at this point right now, we have faster moving averages there, slower moving averages there, market there. We're stuck. We don't like that. That's not a good place to be trading. That's a very choppy environment. anytime you get that. Anytime you get the slower moving average here, and you get like a faster moving averages coming right down on top of it, and the market is trading right in the middle of them, that is a very dangerous trading zone. Not anything that we need to get involved with. I tell you what, it would save you so much and save so many headaches if you were able to wait for the market to get out of them ranges, get out of that type of trading environment and start to move one way or another. Okay? I mean it whenever you have the long-term coming one way and short-term coming the other, and you're just getting pinched in there. That's what we're talking about. So you have long-term moving up, short-term moving down, and we're stuck right there in the middle. Okay? Your life would get a lot easier if you could go with them, yes. So like here, you got short-term, long, all these pullbacks, what you're looking for, pullbacks. All of a sudden you get a drop. Now you have long-term up, short-term down, pop. Oh, we get a little bit of chop. Oh, there's a change in direction. Now we're getting everything starting to move to the downside. Got this goofy spike, but nonetheless, still the same. Oh, now we're holding, and we're not breaking down anymore, are we? No. We're popping up, so we got short-term long, long-term short, chop zone. So that's just what we're doing here. I was just showing you some examples in the past that we can see that. So right now we're in the chop zone. If we come out of that chop zone to the short side, we're going to be butting our head on support. If we come out to the long side, we're going to be butting our head on resistance. Let's just work together today. Let's watch some price action. Let's see if we're going to have neutral internals like we've been having. This is great for trading these type of ranges. That would be great for trading these type of ranges. If we're going to have momentum, we're going to need to see one of these dudes break. What are you going to see? Us break to the 52s to the downside, or break through like the 67, 68 to the upside. Any questions on this? Any questions on this, guys? Does that all make sense? Any questions there, guys? Okay. All good. Okay. I believe you. Let's move on. Russell. Well, you see we had a few things here on the Russell already marked up from yesterday. Let me redo some of this. So we want to redo it all. Let's redo it. I kind of like that trend line that we have on there. I already like that trend line. Let me see what happens if we put on a channel. I'm not saying I'm going to have to go ahead and maybe redo that one, but let's just see what happens if we throw a channel on here. Well, we got a couple nice little moves there, right? Broke out to the downside, pop back up. Broke out to the upside, pop back down. Pretty clear move here. Pretty clear channel here for us to deal with. Okay, pretty clear channel here for us to pay attention to. Not to mention some resistance. The reason I drew that resistance where I did is the idea of drawing this stuff is to find the most touches. Pretty clear evidence there. That's a very important touch because that is the solo high. And we also had 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, 4 touch, 5 touch, 6 touches at this level. Okay. Now I know we had a touch up here, but we had a majority of the touches right there. Okay. We had this one little teaser to the upside, but then all the other touches came at that particular level. So some of you may not look at it like that and may not draw them like that. But the idea of technical analysis is find the most touches as you can. That would be the strongest band of support or resistance. And as you see here, swing high. Actually, let me just make this easy. Pretty clear here, right, guys? Swing high, swing high, swing high. Both swing high and low. Swing high, swing high, swing high, swing high. So there's a lot of touches in that area. That's why we chose to use that as our resistance. Now we have dropped down a little bit here. We have a little bit lower highs, but that's because we're in this channel to the downside. So what am I going to look at here on the Russell? Well, at this point, I'm looking to sell. I'm looking at any type of selling opportunities. The Russell really is path of least resistance is to the short side. If it wants to pop up here, like it wants to respect this pullback and pop up, we have some resistance. Then we'll take a look at the market internals. We'll take a look at some of the other indications and see if, hey, is this thing ready to push higher? Or is the internals kind of neutral and we're going to get this thing to roll over? To be determined. But right out of the gate, we're inside this channel. We're looking for this thing to short, right? All I have to say here about the Russell. I think the Russell is probably the best looking intraday market right now. Take a look here at the Dow. Just take a peek here at the Dow. Dow has some minor stuff going on here. And mind you, a 1600 tick chart of the Dow is pretty darn big. So that's a pretty big chart. Let's go ahead and let's mark this dude up here. Okay, so we got some support there. We have some support there, not to mention some real support. Fibonacci stuff. So we got a lot of support here coming in on the Dow. So this is interesting. We're looking 100% short on the Russell. We're looking basically 100% long on the Dow, right? All this support, momentum higher, everything's higher. And we're looking very, very neutral right now, stuck in this range on the S&P. Holy moly. What are we dealing with here? So definitely something that we're going to have to pick through with a fine-tooth comb. Say, hey, what in the world is taking charge here? And now let's go to the NASDAQ. What is the NASDAQ doing? Well, what do you think it's doing? NASDAQ is pushing higher. Let me go ahead and mark this dude up real fast. We have some support here on the NASDAQ now. The NASDAQ is just crazy, crazy push here. We have a lot of higher prices back here in the back that we're coming up and testing, so we cannot disregard this. Let's pay close attention to what the markets are doing here. We have resistance up here. We have support down below, but you can pretty well see which way the momentum is going at the current time, right? You can pretty well see which way the momentum is going currently. Let's throw one more little deal up here. So now we have some support, kind of a, I don't want to call it a support, but I want to call it kind of a guide or a goal. That would be to test this rise in support line. That would be a good goal for this position. So anybody have any questions here? So now we have, if we go back to a little deal here, and now we have NQ pushing higher. So we have the Dow and the NASDAQ looking higher. We have Russell looking lower, and the S&P sideways, all over the board here, guys. Markets are all over the board, and now we just have to watch and see if we can get involved with them. Who's going to be in charge? When these markets open up, are we going to see some selling? Are we going to see some buying? It appears to me to be pretty common sense, but let's go ahead and go over it. If we start to see selling in the market right out of the gate, what markets am I going to be probably the most interested in? If we see selling right at the open, where am I going to be looking? Russell and S&P, you're right. If we see buying, we're going to be looking at the Dow, the NASDAQ, and the S&P. The Russell, remember, we're looking to the short side on Russell. Russell can get a pop up through the resistance, and we'll start looking long. But just right out of the gate, you're seeing we're trying to get these markets to start to choose who's in charge and who exactly is going to go ahead and lead this race. Crude oil. Crude oil. Here we go on crude. What a fun market, guys. I miss being actively trading crude. But just things are just not. I had this drawn last night. I wonder where it went. For some reason my drawings don't always stay. I mess them up somehow. But anyways. Definitely a nice little range here on the crude oil. Definitely a nice little range here on crude oil. See if we can come down here, test some support. If we want to get a bounce, we want to continue lower. What exactly would this market like to do as we approach them lows? But at this point, I'm seeing nothing but downward move here, guys. Nothing but a downward move here. Looks very similar to this one back here, but here we are again, selling off again. See if these markets get down here near these 48s. Yeah, good luck with that, John. You go ahead and do that. John says, just buying out of the money put and hold your nose. Yeah. All right. All right. And one more little thing here that we definitely need to mark out because it's pretty apparent. We have these highs. No doubt about it, guys. We have some highs here. So very good. We got that marked up. I'm not going to do much more about it. We have all these little micros along the way. We can deal with them later, but I'm not going to get too sucked into them. The main thing is this channel on the way down, this momentum ride to the downside. Pay close attention to whether or not we stay in that or we break out of it. Gold. Erase. Oh, what a pain in the butt. You know what that is? I bet that's the same price on the Russell. I just erased some Russell stuff. I did. I just erased the Russell. That's fine. Let me put it back up here. Yeah, the Russell and gold have very similar prices, so it'll do that. I need to talk to Infinity. Anybody know how to do that? Not have your drawings go over to the next market? If not, no big deal. I will look at that later. But as you see here, we are coming into some support here on the Russell. We are coming into some support here on the Russell. Something to pay close attention to. We are coming into some support here on the Russell. Oh, no, there's a lot going on right now in the markets. I'm excited for today. There is a ton going on in the markets. Today will be a good day, in my opinion. I'm not going to say we're going to hit the moon and we're going to take off running, but there are a lot of things. If they just move, if we can just get the markets to move, there are a lot of opportunities today. We are testing a lot of support, testing a lot of resistance, and anytime you do that, usually leads to some good trading. Any questions, guys? Okay, guys, what are we getting here?
Jerry Jones calls a challenge getting both of those guys signed in a way that will allow the Cowboys to do some other things that they need as well. So they've been talking to Des Bryant for a long time, since before this past season. Let's assume they signed Des Bryant in some way. Can they get Marco Murray in the fold as well? If not,
all right, nice little pop here on the Dow. Not really, not really a crazy move, but just a little pop. Dow's getting a little pop. The other three are kind of actually pulling back here. Let me look at the Dow here real fast. Nice pop here in the markets. Nice pop here in the markets. What's the S&P look like? Getting a pretty nice little pop here. We opened up down here on the internals. That's to be expected. This is all to be expected, guys. Remember, we gap down here. All right, markets, what are we going to do? Guys, I'm just trying to let this market tell me what to do, because right now, you know, we have bearish internals. Everything's bearish right now. I know we get a little spike to the upside here, but that doesn't constitute, you know, necessarily a bullish market. We're at resistance, bearish internals, a lot of question marks here. Do I think this thing could go higher and go up here and test these 66s? Oh, absolutely. I'm just trying to weigh out my options here, guys, because we are bearish down here. Look down below. We are bearish, and we're not popping up with any authority. We're just stuck down here. So price may want to pop up, but this may also just be a little teaser here to start the market. This first 2 minutes of trading here, this 2-minute pop that you see, let's see if that's you know, get some follow through and get some more momentum, get up here towards these highs. If that's the case and we still have bearish internals, then we can look for possible reversal trades. But this here is a little bit too risky for me to trade this pullback to the long side without really having a lot of support anywhere else. You know, that could have been just as well a you know, a 2-minute pop here right at the open, because that's all it's been so far. It's a 2-minute pop here right at the open. That's all we've had. So. What was the credit we sold for Citigroup? Anybody know? What were the strikes? I'm just looking at. I'm on a different platform though. Thank you, Darlene. Thank you. I was gonna have to look it up, but I just had a brain fart there. Okay. Okay, cool. Let me look up this chart here. Are we filled, Darlene? Like I said, I don't have that platform up right now. Are we filled on either one of our positions from last night? Let's see here. No fills yet? Okay, that's all right. That's what I'm actually looking for. So I was trying to do it manually. Didn't pull up the platform yet. So thank you, though, for that. I appreciate it. I actually like that trade, believe it or not. I really do.
Iconic figures, Sandy Payne, another legend that shaped the game for future generations of football life, continuing in celebration of Black History Month tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern only on NFL Network. And now we head inside the film room this morning, another Patriots edition of the NFL AM film room. Joining me here, we got a.
How are we not filled on that? What did we try collecting on that? Oh, 77 cents. All right. That's right. 70. I think it was 77 cents. I was looking at this and I was like, we should be filled. I'm seeing 76 cents right now, but it's not. It's actually a little bit more. Okay. Okay. Right now, we're just kind of watching these markets decide what they want to do. Once again, that NASDAQ popped higher, guys. Let me go take a look at Apple. What's Apple doing today? NASDAQ's up like that. I'm going to look at Apple every time. And look at Apple, guys. Going to the freaking moon. So that is going to hold NASDAQ up. That's crazy how powerful these companies are. One company can literally do this. That's what will do it every time. That's what will hold this sucker up, guys. It's absolutely remarkable. Go back and look at it. When you get these NASDAQs to hold higher like this, it's always Apple. It's always Apple. Man. So here we are looking for this market to possibly try and drop, and we got one freaking instrument trying to hold us up. You can blame me a little bit. I have about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 Apple products in front of me right now. So sure, some people have even more than that. And I have more upstairs. Okay. That actually the Dow really had a nice pullback there, and it's not popping higher. Neither is the Russell. You guys still see how bearish we're holding here, though, right? See, we're still holding very bearish here. Very bearish here. We had a quick pop up, close the gaps, and we have held bearish here, guys. So we're not following through much to the upside. Yeah, we'll see here. Gold just had a nice drop there, guys. So look at this market possibly gonna pop. Big action in gold. Huge action in gold. Come on, markets. Let's see a move here. Got a lot of resistance and support here today. Gold came down and retested in previous day's lows. Okay. Volatility's not really moving yet, guys. You had that gap up, which we should expect, and a little pullback. So it's right in line with the markets right now. It is right in line with the markets right now. All right, what are we going to do here? Crude's not really moving yet. Sometimes on crude inventories days, crude will move early and then slow down right before the numbers. And sometimes that sucker just doesn't want to move at all. So that's what we're dealing with right now. Yeah, here we are rolling just a little bit. Not much here in the S&P, but it looks a little more apparent on the Dow and the Russell. Let's see if we can actually get a drop here. Big, big topping tail candles there, especially on the Dow. 15-minute chart has a big topping tail candle there. Okay, are we starting something to the downside here, guys? Got a big topping tail candle here on the Dow. I know you can't see a lot here on this longer tick chart. The Dow doesn't trade as much as some of these instruments, but still, we can see this though. We can still see what in the world it's doing. Getting down into this congestion area. We're going to start the move to the downside here, or are we just coming back into the congestion area and getting ready for a next pop? Could be setting us up for, kind of a clue on the directional bias for the day here. Let's just wait patiently and see what we can get. Yeah, here we are. All right, looking over here at the bonds, just kind of stuck right there, looking like they possibly might want to leak a little bit lower. I'm not gonna pop before I see it happen, though. Is it? Oh no! It's a lot easier to get filled during the day. We got Twitter. Twitter got a nice bounce there. Twitter got a nice bounce there. Man, look at Microsoft. Big drop. See if we can. See if I don't know. We'll be patient here. Gonna be patient here. Did you watch the recording of it? Yeah, it's recorded. We talked last night a little bit in the options class about gap and go type situations on earnings plays on stocks, and actually put a position on one of them. But trying to get some fills here. Look at that drop in the Russell, guys. That's something that I'm interested in. All right. I like the Russell short side.
This patriot, like yourself, just finished his first season in New England after coming over from the Tennessee Titans.
You stumped.
Okay, better.
2 for 2. 2 for 2.
I thought I had
You know what? This may get him. This may get him. All right. This patriot has a Bachelor of Arts in Science. I'm not even going to say what college because
That's too easy.
let's go. Let's give it a one.
But it's up there.
All right. It's from Michigan, so
Let's take me 12.
yeah.
See how I should have done teamwork there.
That's 3 for 3. All right.
Yeah, I want to get below these lows. Get below these lows, and I'm going to start looking at Russell.
Okay, so he's 3 for 3.
This patriot will be on the late show with David Letterman tonight. It's a trick question. It's a trick question.
You cannot give him any hits.
You know, I say players are in the college. Bill, come on, man. We can take this one. This show on. We can take this show.
All right, okay.
Okay, I am actually looking here, guys.
Patriot wide receiver signed as an undrafted free agent by the Cowboys in 08. Go.
I hear there's a lot of T.O. Compton on it. Is probably the storyline connected to that guy.
Look at her. Are you looking at the answer?
I'm watching this Russell right now.
Alright. Oh, this one's really hard. Come on, get this one right. Tom Brady just gave his Patriot his Super Bowl 49 under control.
So hard.
This one is really hard.
So hard.
Open you out the check there. We
It's so too bad.
tried. And we fell 8 out of 8.
Guys, the reason I'm not willing to short this is we have not broken them lows. We got a long ways to go. We got a lot of movement. If it wants to break, I'll take it. But right now, just being patient here. We got a nice little drop here on the crude. See if we can get an opportunity here to short crude. Come on, guys. We're getting some sideways movement here on the indexes. So guess what? I'm going to reach out and possibly look towards the crude here. Crude is actually getting a very, very healthy move. So whenever it decides to stop, I'm going to entertain. Yeah, I'm definitely going to entertain some crude here. We're down below the previous day's low. So we're definitely very directionally biased here. Just see if we can get an opportunity here, guys. All right, see if we can get this thing to drop on down here. Got an order out at the 11s. We got an order out at the 11s, guys. See if we can get a short there at the 11s. Got an order out there at the 11s. Let's see if we can get a pullback. If not, I completely understand. But I'm not going to chase it. I want a pullback. I want to see a nice pullback here. Come on, I want to see a nice healthy pullback here. Look at that pop here in them indexes. My goodness, that NASDAQ is going to drag these suckers up, isn't it? Any chance that NASDAQ is going to drag these other markets up? How do I stay so calm and cool during trading? Are you talking about me as a person? or are you asking how you can stay calm in person? I don't know. I don't have anything to get worked up over. I come in here with a game plan every day, and I say, hey, if this happens, I'm going to do this. If this happens, I'm going to do that. And all I have to do then is the stress is off the table. I just execute my plan at that point. I think a lot of the stress comes from a lot of people not putting together the plan. They come in, they turn on their computers, they pull up their charts, and they start trading. They don't do a whole overview of the market, overview of what's going on. And when they're in the live market, they're trying to make their decisions then, rather than having a game plan going into the market. I think that's a huge part of it. I think that would be stressor number one. So don't just turn on the computer and assume that you can just pop right in here and start trading and making all your decisions on the fly, because your mind's going to be all over the place here. I have a very structured plan before I ever even have the mindset of taking a trade. So I think that would be number one. Number two is I know exactly what I'm doing whenever it comes to my system and my methods. I don't need to, I guess, be guessing what the market's going to do. I know what my risk reward and how I like to manage my risk reward. That's what these markets are. It's not, well, this is, this going this much money or this. I don't even look at any of that stuff. I basically just, I have a system, and I have a couple different exit methods to where, if things are going really well and we're smoking it and it's going well, you can allow for a little bit more room to run. If things are a little bit more hesitant, the markets aren't as trending or momentum based, then we can tighten up the stops a little bit more. And I have basically two different ways of getting into the market. So everything is already set in stone before the action ever even happens. So maybe that is another reason why I don't have to be necessarily kind of, I guess stress is a good word, because I don't really have any stress. I'm just, I know what to expect in the long run. Okay, guys, are we going to, let me see here. Let me reset this. Number is going to be at the 9 now. Going to be at the 09s here. Going to be at the 09s here, if we can get a pullback. Let me take a quick peek over here at the S&Ps. Quick peek at the S&Ps. Guys, this is all I can see. This is what I see when I look at this. I see a high and a higher high. I see a high and a lower high. I see bearish divergence here on these internals completely. You have higher high in price, lower high on the indication. That is what I see. Now, what's going to happen, I don't know. But that's exactly what I see here. So is it possible that, this thing is being drugged to the up by the NASDAQ? Absolutely it is. It is very possible this thing is being drugged to the upside by the NASDAQ. So. Okay. Not quite enough pullback here on the crude. Looking for the 9s. If we can pop up there another 10 ticks. Pop up there another 10 ticks and grab me and roll on over. Okay. Close to a fill here, guys. Just a couple ticks away at this point. See if it'll fill us and then roll on over. Literally a couple ticks away. Come on, hop on up there and get us a fill. We don't want to deal with this crap.
Obviously, we think he's a hell of a player. In fact, he knows that. As representatives know that. He knows that if he's back, he's not going to play the same number he's scheduled to make. So, he's a guy that is our great guy that would love to have back now. Whether or not he wants to play next year, I can't answer that. It's hard for these guys to football too. And then, we played a lot of football in the last 2 years, and especially when this guy was this taxing us behind him, and so he has to get that. He has to reset himself and get in that mind frame of okay, I'm ready to get moving here again and get prepared for another season of this. And so, obviously, we'd like to have a decision as quickly as we could, but we'd love to have him back.
Okay. No real change yet, guys. I'm going to leave it at the 9s. Come on. Indexes are still kind of consolidating right now, except for the NASDAQ, obviously. Okay. Who's looking to take this position with me, guys? Who's in this with me? Anybody in here with me? All you people in this trading room, and nobody's taking this trade with me. Maybe I am due to have a winner. I made the comment last night in options class. I was looking for, whether you're bullish, bearish, or neutral on the market over the next month. And there was an overwhelming vote for long side. And I said, well, maybe I should short. 90% of traders are wrong, right? I was just joking, of course. We got a good group in there, but that's one way to think about it. One way to think about it. Okay, guys, we're 2 ticks away. See if we can get this thing to drop. Looking for something down near this support area. So we got a long ways to go to get down to this support. Actually, a nice little 23% extension would be perfect. If we could get that to happen, you wouldn't hear any complaining out of us. You wouldn't hear a peep out of us, would you? Down near these, what? We're looking somewhere around these 66s. You wouldn't hear a peep out of us, would you? Okay, guys, I'm just waiting for some selling. It's not here. The selling is not here. Is it going to pop up here a little bit higher and test these 17s, these 15 to 20s? I'm going to give it about another 30 seconds here to sell off here. And if not, it's probably going to pop up a little bit here. Probably going to pop higher just a little bit here. Give this thing about another 20 seconds here, or else it's going to start popping higher. About 10 more seconds here, guys. Okay. 5 more seconds I'm going to give it, and then I'm going to take this order here. Take my 40 bucks. All right. This thing is not popping up here, guys, or dropping. So let me go ahead and I'm out. I'm out here, guys. I took 5 ticks off of it. I took 5 ticks out of it, guys. This is one of them deals. If it's not, they're not sitting here waiting to sell. It's about a 50-50 shot whether or not it's going to drop, or usually it'll pop a little bit higher and then start to drop over. So let's take a look here at some charts and let's say, hey, where's our next area this thing could test? And if it doesn't hold here at the 15s, I see it potentially heading all the way back up here to these 50s. So we got a long ways to go here before we can start to trust this. So I ended up taking 5 ticks out of it, guys. I know that's not what we're looking for. I know that's not what our goal was. Our goal was 35 ticks on this, but actually not. That's not right. 55 ticks on this. So if it drops from here, that's fine. I'm not upset. Why? Because I traded 1 contract, and this is the way that I like to manage them. This thing was not. If we're sitting right here and we got a quick drop, guess what? We didn't have enough sellers to keep this thing selling off. So as it popped back up there, they better be sitting there waiting to sell this. If they're not sitting there waiting to sell this, there's a great chance this thing will pop higher here from this price. And I'm not willing to be that guy that gets kind of stuck here. So let's just watch. If it sells off from here, you're not going to hear me complain. You know, this is all part of what I like to do. And the emotions, keeping emotions out of the trading and managing the risk, is all part of that. So at this point, if it pops higher, great. Our decision was right. If it pops lower, well, guess what? Our initial trade, and maybe we can learn from it. So I'm out. I made 5 ticks on it, guys. Nothing crazy. It just keeping my emotions in check, keeping things in order here, and let's just watch and see what it does. See if we can learn from this move, learn from this price action. Let's just watch here, guys. We're going to come back up here to the 15s and hold, or are we going to pop on higher and head back up towards these 50s, this 45 to 50 range? All right, them indexes are going nowhere. Here's a 2-minute chart of the S&P. They're really going nowhere, guys. Fairly low volume for the most part. We're averaging around 6,500 contracts every couple minutes. Kind of a low volume, guys. I don't know about you, but I am just about sick of talking about low volume. I am ready for these things to start doing something. More importantly, start selling, but whatever they want to do, they'll do.
Johnny's a great guy. And I think Johnny does a little bit bad rep with that because Johnny worked very hard for me. Really enjoyed coaching him. I don't know what he's going through right now, but I think I'm confident Johnny will work it all out. And I think he's got a chance to have a good future. So the Browns also need targeted NFL investigation as whether GM Brady Farmer sent text suggesting play calls and personnel changes to the sidelines during games. Violation of legal by Hoyer, Browns starting quarterback this season, says he's going to wait to see how that investigation plays out. Deciding on whether to resign with Cleveland, but wait for the baby Brady to move on from Manziel. NFL media insider.
Come on, Margaret. What are we going to do? Does anybody have any questions about us taking that position off? We got about 17 minutes here until crude oil inventories come out. There's a good chance we're going to get a little bit quiet here with the crude inventories. Crude's not going to move like it normally would, so might be the time to wait patiently for them numbers to come out. Anywho, let me go grab a drink here real fast. I hear Megan getting ready to leave, so I'm going to go say bye, guys. But I'll be right back. We turn on some market cash for you. And we'll be back here in just a few minutes here. Crude oil coming out in 17 minutes.
2.5 bid. 2.5 now for you. The local on this here now. We're 2.5 now for you. It's 270 bid on that. 320 here now. You got a local market here now. Once again, I'm an outright 270 bid on that. 270 bid now for you. Just a bit of a chop here now. We're 62.70 bid now. Pulling on it. 2.5 bid on that. 2.5 bid. 62 happening out. I'm at 63 here now. Once again, I'm a 62 happening now for you. I'm at 2 happening out. I'm at 3. These are locals on this here now. We're 62 out thin. 2 happening out for you, kind of thin. 2 happening out. I'm at 3 even here now. These are locals here now. We're 2 happening out. I'm at 3. We're 62 out thin. 2 happening out, fading out now. We're 220 minute out for you, kind of thin here now. These are locals here now. We're 220 minute out. I'm at 280. 220 minute out for you, kind of thin here now. These are locals here now. We're 2 happening out for you, kind of chop here now. We're 2 happening out for you. These are locals, 2 out bid. Happening out fades here now. Once again, I'm an outright 220 bid here now. And I'm at 280 here now. These are locals here now. We're 220 bid. 220 bid now. And I'm at 280 here now. These are locals here now. Once again, 2 happening out. I'm at 3. 2 happening out for you. These are locals here now. Once again, I'm outright 2 happening out for you. These are locals here now. We're 2 happening out. I'm at 3. 2 happening out for you. Kind of thin here now. These are locals here now. We're 2 happening out. I'm at 3. 2 happening out. The paper 220 down below the atom. 2 happening out. I'm at 3. Paper 220 down below the atom. 220 down. I'm at 280. 220 bid now for you, kind of thin here now. We're 220 bid now for you, local market here now. We're 220 bid here now. Papers coming in with a bit of a bid. Keeping an eye here on the NASDAQ and the Russell here now, losing some of that energy that we're seeing to the upside off the open. Watching here now as we happen here now. Once again here now, we're watching here now as we happen. 2 happening out of at 3. 2 happening out for you. These are locals here now. We're 2 happening out of at 3 here now. These are locals here now. We're 2 happening out of at 3. 2 happening out for you, kind of thin with a 3 minute out of at 3 out here now. These are locals here now with 3s pulling. 2 happening out of at 3 out. 2 happening out for you. These are locals here now. We're 2 happening out for you. Local market here now. We're three here now again. Something chop here now. Once again here now. Some chop type activity here now again. 220 minute now. I'm at 280 here now. These are locals here now. We're 220 minute now. I'm at 280. 220 minute now for you. These are locals here now. We're 220 bid pulling. 280 minute out of it a half. 280 minute out for you. Locals on this here now. We're 280 minute out for you. Local guys. Crude's weak as long as it's below 49.30 here now. It's a week again. Did see a bit of a pullback, but unable to get here now below that level here. That are unable to get above that level. Again, here the level to watch here on the crude's 49.30. As long as we're below that, see directional conviction to the downside. 1 happening out for you again here now. 1 happening out for you. I'm happening out of that 2. Here comes a bit of a seller here now. Paper here now comes in here now. A bit of a seller. Again here now, 1 happening out, fading. I'm a 1 minute out, 20 minute now, make that paper here now look like Merrill coming in a bit of a seller. Again here now, paper comes in a bit of a seller at the 61.50 level. Paper here now, 120 minute out for you, 120 minute out and out, 180. 120 minute out for you, 120 minute out and out, 180. Once again here now, we're 120 bid. 20 minute out, fades here now, we're 1 minute out for you, minute out and out, 1 out, here now, these are locals on this here now, 1 minute out, here now, they just sold 120s. They also here now, came in here now, just sold here now, some 1 minutes here now, and around minute out and out 1. I'll wrap it out for you, kind of thin here now, local on this here now, and I'm an outright, I'll wrap it out for you, kind of thin here now, these are locals on this here now, and I'm an out bid, I'll wrap it out, and I'm at 1. I'll happen it out for you once again. I'm outright. I'll happen it out about 1 minute here now. Guys, just brought to my attention here now. Definitely worth taking note of here now. Look at how we have your breadth indicators here now on lows. Once again here now, your breadth indicators here now coming off in the low prints here now. We're 60-50 bid. Watching as we're rolling over a bit here now in reaction. Once again, 60-50 bid here now. 60 wanting a bid now comes in. Wanting a bid now for you. I'm going to bid out about 1/2. 60 wanting a bid now for you. These are locals on this here now again. 60 wanting a bid out of it a half. So they came in offer here now after Mill sold the 61 halves there again. Came in an offer here now, but I want to point out here now, we do have 60 wanting to bid now for you. They're the offer right now. It's small paper bid here now for you. Pulling all out 1/2 here now, once again, 60-50 bid. So this is the level I mentioned earlier here now. Should we see trade down below this level here? And I think we could build momentum here now to the downside again. Watching here now, this significant level here now is the Russell's holding below 1200. The only one major here now that's really holding that bid is the NASDAQ. It's been a bit of a world of its own. Keeping an eye on that dollar here, which has been strong here now. It's off the extreme high tick, but again, dollar here, ladies and gentlemen, has been strong. We are 61 even bid now for you. I'm even bid at a half here, and I got local starting to come in a bit on the offer here now at these levels here now. We are 61 even bid now for you. I'm even bid out of it a half. One bid. Wanting to bid it out for you, and even out about 1/2 here now. These are locals here now. We're wanting to bid it out for you, kind of thin here now. Wanting to bid it out about 1/2. Wanting to bid it out for you, and even bid it out locals here now. We're 120 bid here now for you, kind of thin. 120 bid here now, kind of thin. 120 off. We're wanting it off here now. Still watching your breadth indicators here now. New low NYSE breadth here. Once again, new low here now. NYSE breadth here now. We're watching here now. Breadth indicators here now coming off a bit here now, keeping an eye on it here now as we have been. We continue to be here now, watching here now, some weakness here now in your breadth indicators here now for you today. Ahead of here, ladies and gentlemen, ahead of this crude oil inventory report. So all three breadth indicators, your NYSE, your NASDAQ, and your Russell breadth here, ladies and gentlemen, have gone negative on the day. Once again here now, we're watching here now just a bit of weakness here now, weakness in the breadth indicators in the market internals here now, exhibiting some weakness. 61 even bid now for you, and even bid on a bit of half.
All right, guys. Well, sure enough, we did pop up here a little bit higher. What did we pop up to? Right to them 15s that we were talking about. And we rolled over. We're looking for somewhere here in the mid-60s for this thing to find some support. Maybe it can head on down here a little bit lower towards these 50s or 40s if it's going to test this lower band here. So is anybody still in this? We have crude here in 9 minutes. Crude oil here in 9 minutes, guys. What about the Dow? Well, here, I'll pull this over here. This is my 2-minute chart of the Dow. I would go ahead and venture to say this is a pretty neutral market. Wouldn't you? I mean, we're talking about 30 points, highs to lows. That's not much, and that's a very neutral down market. That's what my 2-minute chart looks like. That's not anything I can see any real momentum in. Wouldn't you say? I don't see too much momentum there on that Dow. So I'm not sure what you're looking at. You might be looking at something really micro. And you know, much smaller than I'm looking at, but that's what I see. Another thing here, guys, I don't know if this is going to spark your interest or not, but look where we are. We are flat on the S&P. Look down below here. We're at minus 1,100 on the net issues. We're extremely sold off here on the volume. We have the tick here down all day long. When is this sucker gonna finally roll over? This market will roll over, guys. As long as this stays like this, this market will roll over. We just had this talk a minute ago about looking at these S&Ps and saying, hey, we're actually creating higher highs, but we're creating lower highs, and not to mention, we are still pushing to the downside. I am still waiting for this market to start to tumble. Still waiting for this market to start to tumble. When it does, I'm going to be the first one in line here to get involved. So I know it's a pain in the rump to wait on these things, but patience is always, always, always going to pay you back. Patience is always going to pay you back. Okay? Patience is always going to pay you back, guys.
Come kickoff Sunday, the best in the business will treat us to a show. That's a great piece, but let's start right there. Very interesting to see what goes into the game. 100 million people watching the Super Bowl. I will ask you guys this. Super 49 was it the best?
We just broke through some of them lows. Let me take a look at the Russell here. Look at Russell. Just pop through them lows here. Remember, the Russell's that market that's at that resistance here. Russell, if we can get a nice drop here, should be one that I'm looking at. You are welcome, bud. That's the benefits of trading multiple contracts at times. Sometimes it comes back to bite you in the butt, especially if you're not experienced yet. But that is exactly what trading multiple contracts can do for you. Yeah. All right, there's a drop in the S&P. Not much though. I'm just kind of giving heads up, if you were to say. Heads up. You guys all understand what we're talking about here with this with these internals and the divergence, and these internals being down at 1250, minus 1250 on the net issues, and we being flat the S&P. Is that not kind of an early sign? Kind of a heads up, little flicker saying, hey guys, this thing's being held up by something, but just wait. Everything else, whoop, down the drain. Everything else, down the drain. Come on, markets. React the way you should. That's where we are now. What do we got here? Anybody doing any trading outside of the crude that we took? All right, inventory is out in 2 minutes from now. Darlene, are we filled on either one of them positions yet? I'm looking at some charts of it, and I'm not thinking that we are, just looking at the charts. Not yet? Okay. I'll let you know. If I plan on adjusting that at the end of the day, I'll let you know. If they both just take off from here, I'm not going to chase them. But if they stay here, there's a good chance I'll just adjust it and still look to take the opportunity. Long day ahead of us, though. We still got a long ways to go. We still got a long ways to go, guys. It's almost like these markets just kind of like they just stop life with the low volume. Let's see here. We're averaging, just under that 6,500 mark here. Contracts traded every 2 minutes. Pretty low, guys. All right. Is it 9:30 yet? We got 20 seconds left. $20 and we'll have breaking news out of the Colmex biz.
If you look at the performance of North America beverage in the quarter, 3% revenue growth, 11% operating profit growth. It seems to me that business is performing quite well right now, really at an industry-leading level. Importantly, both in the U.S. and internationally, it's the integration of the food and beverage portfolio that's allowing us to really play at the top tier, I think, of CPG company performance right now. Whether you look at developing emerging markets, whether you look at developed markets, the interplay at the R&D level, at the selling level, at the supply chain level is what's enabling us to perform consistently over time, and that's what's making PepsiCo work.
We also talked about the impact of lower gas prices and how that should help the consumers.
All right, numbers are a little bit higher inventories. Inventories are up a little bit. Not a ton, not like we've seen in the past, but inventories are up a little bit. Let's see if we can get some falling prices here. Inventories are up a little bit. Should be able to get crude to drop from here. Oh, I'm looking here. Let me get crude pulled up here. Yes, they absolutely are dropping from here. All right. Here's crude coming down into that support. What are we going to do here? All right, that is done. That move is done for sure. I'm not really a news trader, but I will wait for stuff to pass. I am not a huge fan of trading news, so most of the time you'll see me let things pass. All right, here we are. We had a nice little drop there. We're going to pop back up here on crude. See if we can get that 50% pullback from that break. I'm going to look to take it here, guys. I'm going to sell here at the 45s. I'm going to sell here at the 45s. See if I can get a short here at the 45s. See if it'll fill me here at the 45s. Touching my order here. Not filled yet. Look for a fill here at the 45s. Oh my goodness. Sat right there, my order. See if we can get a fill here at the 45s. Literally sitting right there in my order.
Good morning, Carly. Tensions really boiling up on Capitol Hill over this Homeland Security funding bill. Remember, Republicans and Democrats over the funding for President Obama's immigration executive orders in this Homeland Security bill. The House has passed this version. It hasn't gone anywhere in the Senate. That is frustrating to House Speaker John Boehner, who just used some vulgar language in describing the state of affairs up on Capitol Hill. Take a look.
She makes crickets.
I want you to ask the Senate Democrats when they're going to get off their ass and do something. Other than to vote no.
So some real frustration there from the Speaker of the House. Remember that.
Okay, guys. Getting close to that threshold where I'm going to move this. Getting close to that threshold where I will move this. All right, dancing around here too much. I'm going to move it up. If it wants to fill me up at this price here, if it wants to fill me up here at the 51s, then I'll take it. But other than that, I'm not going to chase this thing anymore. I was literally, it touched 45. I've been sitting there at 45. It touched it, and I did not get filled. I really thought with this high volume I would have been filled there. But it sat right at my 45s and never filled me here. And here we've dropped over 20 ticks in our direction. So no sense in me leaving that where it's at. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to thinking about sitting back here for a minute because this thing is dropping too much. Let me cancel these orders. Sit back and watch. Are we going to respect this support area that we drew in our pre-market analysis? Are we going to respect this down here? And if that's the case, we'll look for a game plan here in just a minute.
Why is Wendy's growing? Why is Popeyes growing? Why is Chick-fil-A growing? Focus on the business you're in versus focusing on the business you're not in. And I think
the only other thing I see is these 80s up here. These 80s.
It sounds like they've heard that
it wants to pull back to them 80s.
They're talking about simplifying the menu. On the other hand, their rivals are adding to the menu different kinds of burgers. Burger King's, that's been their specialty for years. So what's the answer? Making new and inventive things or removing all but the basics from the menu? Well, I think that McDonald's situation is different. The menu exploded because they were so obsessed with everything outside their category. They kept on adding to the menu without subtracting from the menu. I mean, many years ago when we worked on the turnaround, we had a decision rule. For every item you add, you have to subtract something. Otherwise, the menu explodes. And with over 120 items on the menu, I defy you to go
okay, markets. What are we going to do? What are we going to do here, markets?
They are beginning to address aggressively enough is to reduce menu complexity. Larry, I've never had the privilege of going to one of the franchise meetings, the huge franchise meetings that they have. And we should remember that in many senses, the franchisees are their main customers. I hear they're big, it's razzmatazz, we're the winners, we are the best. Obviously, internally, there must be some question now and some demoralization of those franchisees. Can you give us an idea of the structure of the contracts that they have and the degree to which they can switch to competitors to maybe receive it to investors? Take on other brands.
Well, McDonald's has a unique situation in the franchise relationship, which is different from, I think, any other major.
No, it's not, Miguel.
Franchise. McDonald's, in
Mr. Light.
in most cases, owns the land, and the franchisee leases the land. So a franchisee.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's not Steve Bigelow.
Anymore, but they can't put a Burger King on that land. So that gives McDonald's a lot more leverage than many other franchise relationships have. This typical relationship is a 20.
We're going to pop up here towards these 80s. I may look for an opportunity at the 80s, guys, if we pop up there.
The culture inside the place. What do you think of the new CEO, Steve Easterbrook? Even if you don't know him directly, do you think it's enough that appointing him can change morale and help McDonald's get its mojo back, get more into an exciting, innovative company?
Well, you're right. I don't know Steve. So I can't comment on him personally. But I think we need to go back. First, the problems did not start in the last 2 years. For example, the menu complexity. Sure, those seeds were planted under Skinner's term as CEO. In fact,
Okay.
I think most of the seeds of destruction happened under Jim Skinner and were covered up by the.
We're gonna have a bigger swing here, guys, if we can get it up to them 80s.
Jim Cantalupo and Charlie Bell. Finally, so Don Thompson inherited a weak situation. Yes, but after 2.5 years, it's on his watch to fix it, and he didn't act.
What the hell is Apple doing?
I think bringing in the
What's Apple doing,
leadership at
guys?
least signals
Oh, of course.
the board
Of
wants
course.
to act now.
It's just up a
Finally, Larry,
1.5%.
you're the chief marketing officer. They have $1 billion ad budget. This ad
and heading higher.
showing people using hugs as currency.
Apple's a madman.
Do they need to tap into emotion? Or
Apple's a madman.
I thought it was silly. I think that they seem to have gone into a space that's been labeled love and not hating, which is a nice social philosophy. Who could be against that? But I doubt that it's going to sell hamburgers and fries. I think that what they need now is a much more message that will dramatically capture the interest of their core customers and bring them back to McDonald's. Larry Light, former marketing officer for McDonald's, op-ed in the Journal today. Larry, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for having me.
All right, coming up, Rico's Walt Mossberg will be joining Clock Alley Live with his review of Microsoft Outlook for your phone. It's been available for tablets for about a year now, so how is the new version?
Okay.
We'll hear from Walt coming up. I'll be right back on Squawk on the Street.
I'm going to go ahead and just get aggressive here. I'm putting an order out at 73.
To help cure a disease, the right treatment for you.
Just get my order out there, guys. 73.
Some of it's in her head. Some of it's in this new journal.
That's a 618% pullback. So I'm looking for that order here short at the 73s. Looking for an order short there at the 73s. That's front running them previous swing lows.
Anything with pursuing requires knowledge, hard work, and a plan. And bear new approach.
My next area.
Same way, trying to financial plan built to last from generation to generation. We'll listen, we'll talk, we'll plan, Baird.
See, I'm contemplating whether or not to do this because we have the 50. We have at the 90s. We got the 200 period exponential and the 50 period, but here at the 83. Guys, let me move this up. Let me move this up, and let me explain here in a minute.
So we wrote an entire book to show you how we trade options. And if you're one of the first 250 people to call in right
Let me
now,
get rid of this. I moved it up to the 81s, and I'll explain here in just a minute. I'll explain here in just a minute.
There's no comparison. To make the best returns in today's markets, you have to learn how to trade options. And our book will show you how we do it free. It shows you how to use options just like we do to make more money from every dollar you invest and to profit regardless of which way the market's moving. It's all right here in this book, folks. And today, you can get it for free. But only while supplies last. So call now.
Okay, I may adjust this. It's up at 86 right now. But bottom line is, I just took it from a different level. We're having such a drop here, guys. I'm trying to find some fibs that correlate. Here we go. We got some fibs that can correlate somewhat with 77 being the highs. We're at 92. Basically, I'm looking at the shorter term 200 period moving average and the longer term 50 period moving average as kind of a guide here to get me a trade. So that's the reason I have my prices up here. Now I'm currently at the 88s. Prices at the 88. That's where I have it. That's where I'm gonna leave it. But give myself a chance here to get this bigger swing. So I'm going off moving averages. I do have this fib here from the longer time frame. 618 is respecting that area, so my 88's coming right at that 618. So we're getting some confirmation by multiple different time frames here. Something that, you know, maybe if you're newer, you've never seen me do, because it's been a while since I took a long-term swing trade. But nonetheless, still, we had inventories were up. Got a quick drop here, and then here we are leaking back higher. So we're waiting to see if we can find them sellers back into this market at this point. 88s is where my order is. So we still got some room to go until we get there.
To take advantage of some international tax law works on behalf of clients that unfortunately were funded in the unit of Bank of America that has insured deposits here in the U.S. Now, the unit is called Bank of America National Association, BANA, or BANA, as we will call it. And the bank, according to the Journal, was using it since 2011 to fund dividend arbitrage and other trades for clients within its European investment bank. Now, of course, it started in 2011. According to the Journal, by 2014, the bank had started phasing it out, but the report does say that in 2012, the bank had as much as $5.6 billion in these type of trades outstanding, guys. And this is not going to be looked upon favorably by regulators because of the fact that deposits that are insured here in the U.S. should not be used to then.
No, I have a my motif is a very conservative approach. I'm not trying to make a bunch of money there. I'm trying to just manage risk and have small, slow growth. Let me pull it up for you. I haven't looked at it even this week at all. I have Apple in my motif, and I have Apple heavily weighted because Apple is just a monster. And why wouldn't you have Apple heavily weighted at this point? Let me pull it up for you. Hold on. I think my biggest problem with my motif is I have volatility in there. And if I have volatility in there, it's really getting smoked. And I think I have it weighted way too heavy. I'm still profitable on the motif. It just – here we go. All right, let me find it here. Okay, we're getting close to our 88s. We'll keep that. We'll keep an eye on them 88s over here, guys. Let's go to my motifs. Blah blah blah. Here we go. We're up 2% here. It's only been really not even a month, I don't think. 128. So 128. We're up 2%. And the reason we're not up more than that is simply because I have heavily weighted the volatility, and the volatilities went kind of nowhere. You know, it's kind of been crap here. So I originally wanted to see a pop there to help me out, but I have 12% weighted on that. You see here, my financials are down 15%. Indexes here, they are what they are. But if to answer your question, down here would be my Apple. Oops. Down here would be my Apple. And as you can see, that's my winner. Apple I have weighted at 12% over the last month. I weighted it very heavily, and you see it's up 61% for that particular section of this motif. So, yes, I too am very much bullish on Apple right now, and that's pretty evident here, how heavy I weighted it. Okay, so also Boeing. You guys notice when oil was dropping, what I do? I put some money here into the airlines, and I'm up about 20% in a month there. So doing okay there as well. And then Alcoa materials, oil down, base materials here. Not really a big one, but I did weight it at 5% here, so that's up 42% as well. So really, them three being just by themselves are adding a lot of value to my motif here. But the one that's holding me down is me still holding that VIX. But every time the market gets a pullback, I really don't lose anything in my motif. I pretty much stay flat because I am heavily weighted there on the volatility. So if we ever get a crash here in the market or a big pullback in the market, my VIX pops higher nicely here. And I will adjust these things, not very often because, it costs money. But it's cheap. It's only $9 every time you adjust this. But as a whole here, you see the S&P in the last month. What's the S&P done? I don't have it pulled up. The S&P actually went sideways to up, and so has my motif. Okay, in a bullish market, if you can stay up with the S&P, you have a good fund. Okay, but in a bearish market, you better beat the crap out of it. So, all right, is that all you were asking for, bud? I kind of went off topic a little bit, but yet on topic. I mean, you asked about Apple. And I was just saying, yes, I am heavily weighted on Apple at this point. Okay. You guys, I am absolutely stunned when it comes to whenever it comes to these indexes. Them are not dropping, and I don't know. You guys can, some of you may be able to back me up. But can you believe that is Apple doing that? What other instrument is holding these things up like that? What other instrument is holding NASDAQ up like that? Because we have minus 1,000 minus readings on the net issues, and we went nowhere but flat on the indexes. If we do not sell off this afternoon, I'm looking for a pop higher tomorrow.
Everyone talks about what happens when you turn 65. But really, it's what you do before it counts. Medicare doesn't cover everything. Only about 80% of Part B medical costs. The rest is on you. Consider an AARP Medicare Supplement Insurance Plan insured by United Healthcare Insurance Company. Like all standardized Medicare Supplement insurance plans, it could really save you in out-of-pocket medical costs. So call now and request this free decision guide. Discover how an AARP Medicare Supplement Plan could go wrong for you. You want to choose your doctors. Avoid networks. What about referrals? All plans like these let you visit any doctor or hospital that accepts Medicare patients with no networks and virtually no referrals needed. So call now, request your free guide, and explore the range of AARP Medicare Supplement plans.
Yeah. No, I expected today to be an awesome trading day. I'm still not giving up on it. There's a lot of time, and the way that this volatility is trading, I'm not giving up on this at all. Let's see if we can get a pop here. Look at this quick pop here. Our 23% of this most recent pullback comes right dead at that entry. So I'm going to look at the 86s here, guys. I'm going to look at them 86s as a shorting opportunity. I'm looking for them 86s as my shorting opportunity. Long-term move here, guys. Whenever this happens, we're going to need to see this go ahead and drop from here. We have a really nice little channel put in here. We're going to be shorting at the resistance here. So if we can get up here, if we can get a fill, we'll be shorting the resistance. Get this thing to drop right back down here, guys. But let's see here. Got to get a fill first. Tough part about this type of deal is you got to get a fill. These big pullbacks, it's hard to time. Hard to time these fills, but we have a lot of resistance here. See if we can get a fill here. It's hard to time these fills on these big moves without adding more risk, which we already are going to add more risk.
Shares of Generac Power Systems also highs at this hour. The company earlier reporting earnings that topped expectations today. The maker of backup generators is likely to get another boost later this week because get this, Boston, which has already seen the most seasonal snowfall on record with more than 77 inches, is bracing for another 2 storms. Joining us on the phone, Aaron Jackfeld, the CEO of Generac Power Systems. Before we talk about Boston, first on the quarter, more than 20 cents above consensus. Strong way to finish the year. What drove that? Because I don't remember it being very cold until at least
it's a conversation around people concerned about what if, right? What if the power goes out when you're in the middle of a snowstorm, or what if the power goes out when it's 20 or 30 below? So we saw sales pick up very nicely out in the Midwest and the Northeast in particular out of that.
I'm looking at the stock price. Shares down sharply, about 17% last year. Getting the rebound, as I mentioned today, but how correlated is your stock price and your business?
Well, that's been, obviously we sell generators, so at some degree you've got to have the power or concern about power outages or actual power outages.
All right, market.
Our business, though,
Pop up there. Give me a fill.
quite a bit over the last several years. We've gotten much deeper into commercial and industrial applications. About 10% of our
Come on, pop up there and give me a fill. This is the 73 that we originally looked at.
But we serve the telecommunications markets. We serve backup power for bigger installations, hospitals, wastewater treatment plants, and the like. So it's not as focused on weather, but certainly outages are driven primarily by weather.
Anybody have any questions about this position? We are doing nothing on the indexes here. No movement yet on these indexes. We have lots and lots of resistance here at these 90s.
My question, Aaron, would be about if you have some color you can add as to what the power companies are doing to make these power interruptions less likely and how that knocks onto your business. Well, from our perspective, they're not doing much. I mean, when you have an outage and a tree falls on a power line, typically you see the electrical company come out there and restring the exact same wire, right? And everybody loves trees, so there's somebody behind them replanting the tree. So it's a cycle that keeps repeating. I mean, bringing the grid underground is really the only true safe way to transmit power and to avoid these types of outages. The problem is it's a tremendously costly proposition. And so, we talk about infrastructure and not being able to get these huge infrastructure projects done. This is one of them. It's been going on multi-decades. Power reliability, power quality continues.
Is there any questions here, you guys? Any questions at all? Are there any questions at all, guys?
Does it make it challenging to get your goods to market? Is this port dispute affecting you at all?
What do you got, Miguel?
It is. The West Coast port, we had great plans for that, and it's been going on 9 months. These are the best laid plans. Unfortunately, 9 months later, make it challenging. And so it's a tremendous, we use a global supply chain like a lot of companies and a lot of manufacturers and retailers out there. And a lot of that comes through the West Coast. And so the longer this dragged on, there are all kinds of business like ours that occur. I mean, you shut down one
S&P is chopping, not doing anything.
Your air freight components in. I mean, it really is a serious headache.
Are you getting a boost in demand from New England this week very quickly, Aaron?
We hope
yes, we do.
A little bit, but frankly, with the snow events, unless it brings down the power line.
We got to wait for a breakout. He's asking if we got to wait for a breakout on the indexes. Yes. I'm not trading in this range. We're literally 3 ticks from our order, guys. See if it wants to fill us and get some selling in here. Yes, I did, Miguel. We shorted at the 49.09s. We shorted at 49.09. And now we're looking for another short here at 48.86. Two ticks away from our order. No. Short, not long. Yeah. Looking for an opportunity for this thing to drop. Make sure you understand what we're looking for, Miguel, before just diving in. We're looking at a lot of resistance here. See if we can get some sellers in here, or if the buyers are still in charge here. See if we can get some sellers in here. Got a lot of resistance here. All right, we dropped a whole bunch there, guys. I'm taking on a free trade. I have no risk on. If this thing drops down here to the low of this channel, I will be locking in some profits. I'm going to give this just a little bit of room to head back down towards the low of this channel, down towards these lower 60s, and then I'll lock in some profits. But right now, it's battling with this mid-range here. And if it pops back up, I get a free trade. If it drops down to the low of this channel, then I'll lock in some profits. If it breaks out of that channel, boy, then we got to really trail previous swing highs. So my goal right now is to get this thing down towards the low of this channel, and then we can start talking here about locking in some profits. We've popped up there again here. See if we can get a sell-off here. We've sold again here, guys. I'm going to lock in 5 ticks. I'm locking in 5 ticks here, guys. We sold again. We're back down at this area that we've been buying from in these low 70s. So there's a chance we're going to get a bounce from here. If we're going to get a bounce from here, we might as well lock in profits. But if we're going to continue selling, hey, that's fine. We'll lock in more profits as it sells. But as of right now, we've tested this area multiple times. So why would we go ahead and continue to risk? This thing is showing us if it's going to bounce from here, it's going to bounce back up to the top of this channel. So let's either get some selling in here, or I'll take 50 bucks out of this. Either get some selling here, or I'll take 50 bucks out of this. If we get some selling, I'm probably going to lock in 10, 12 ticks or so. So let's just watch here. Let's just watch here. See if we can test the bottom of this channel. If we do, I'll lock in some more. Just not showing that, man. This is just holding right at this midpoint, isn't it? This 21 EMA is holding right now. We need to see some sellers, or we're gonna take what we can out of it. Oh, there it goes. All right, so I got another 50 bucks out of it. Another 50 bucks, guys. We keep on bouncing off of this support. If we bounce back higher here, I'm just gonna watch here patiently. If we show signs of rolling over, maybe we can negotiate another pullback position to the short side. Identifying the markets, but that's all it is, market awareness. I'm just managing risk. Are there going to be times that I take 5 ticks and this thing drops 40 ticks down to my final target? Of course there are. But this is half my sanity too. If you trade one contract, or anytime you trade all in, all out, start to identify with what the markets are doing here. Say, hey, this is or isn't hold. The first goal is to find a really good support or resistance area, which we're pretty good at finding. We're pretty good at finding the support and resistance, and then you just manage it to what the trade needs. At this point, I'm just kind of watching now. I'm just kind of amazed at these indexes. They did not sell off here as this thing was dropping. And if we are not going to see a sell-off in the indexes, this dude is heading higher. Guys, I'm just saying. If we do not see a sell-off with action like this, this dude is heading higher, these indexes. They just talk about Apple non-stop on CNBC. $700 billion in cash. That's what we all have in our trading accounts, so why are they talking about them? I can promise you, if I had $700 billion in cash, you would never see me. My family and I would be traveling everywhere. You're welcome. Thanks for the nice words.
one they have is just insane. The numbers are just continuing to grow. I think that one of the things that we've seen, especially last quarter with iPhone, is that China is a market that is continuing to expand for many, many years. That's what really everyone's going after that. While iPhone is a luxury product, it's still something that everyone wants. And you know, when we looked at China originally, we didn't think as many people would be excited by the phone to have, you know, all of these competitors out there with Android.
Here we are popping higher again, guys. I'm not really seeing any resistance that I'm interested in as this thing pops higher. So I'm not going to be shorting again up here. You guys clearly understand why I shorted, right? Let me explain just for anybody that's confused. Right here we had the highs of the channel. And we had the 200 EMA. Over here, we had the 50 EMA. We had the 618 extension level that we broke down from after the news, pulled back 618, and the previous micro. Actually, it's on an anchor chart, so I don't want to call it micro, but you call it previous swing low. So all of our eggs was in the basket there at the 90s. So what did we do? We shorted the 86. We just front ran the 90s. I think it popped up to 88 and sold off. And from there, we saw that we were testing this rise in support again. As we did that, we locked in a little profit, but we were looking for it to test the bottom of the channel. If it tests the bottom of the channel, we were going to trail above the midpoint. So pretty straightforward stuff. But I don't want anybody to be left hanging on why we did what we did or why we managed, why we even managed that. So, are there any questions at this point in the day? Taking some profits out here on crude. No home runs yet, no big swings. We've been pretty successfully managing here for the most part. We're just now seeing a nice pop up here on the indexes. I'm watching crude and the S&P here approach their previous day's highs. And that is a level that I'm going to be looking at. I'm not going to short into that. But if they break through it, you may see me start to get active here to the long side. Okay, guys. Here we are pulling back to that midpoint again. Kind of in a messy area right now on crude.
Hey, Carl, we're going to test it out again live with you in the car. This is the Model S P85D. And essentially what you get here is the performance edition of the Model S. And when they rolled it out, everybody said, that's great for performance edition. But there's a side benefit. That benefit being that this is a vehicle that does very well when it comes to riding in the snow, in cold weather. You guys don't need snow. This is what I think. We're going to try to make this go as long as we can.
I'm going to look something up here, guys. Is there such thing as an oil net issues, guys? Some of you guys will know more than me. Just curious what it looks like. I've had a lot of questions on it. Is there anything that follows commodities?
There you go. Little 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds. That's just a taste of how quickly the P85D accelerates. Again, the big selling point of this vehicle is the safe mode, but also
I see other crude.
better performance than the original Model S when it comes to cold weather and riding in cold weather. About a third of test percentage of cold weather.
I'm not sure what you mean by that. Are you talking about the contract, Miguel?
So again, guys, I can't hear you. I've lost my IP. But before we go, I'll give you 1 cent from 0 to 60. Just what happens quickly.
Where does the crude come from? I really, Let's see here. Steve, not right now. Not right now. Yes, CME, Miguel. Yeah, Miguel, the crude comes from CME. Sorry about that. I wasn't quite sure what you were asking me there for a second. Do. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on crude. I don't use anything on crude, but just seeing if we had anything. Okay.
We have the SUV that's going to be coming out in the next week or so. You have the less expensive model.
Okay, Miguel. Here we are, still in this range, guys. The indexes aren't quite to their highs yet.
It's not under some pressure, of course. Right now, we'll look for guidance on the Model X, and I think this is 56 cents. We'll see what happens. Finally, let's talk some social media.
Are we going to hold?
All the social media companies out there, Facebook is scared of no one.
Are we going to hold here, guys, on crude this time? Is this the time we're going to hold and break? We're going to hold here at these 86s, 87s and break down? Or not?
I've written a couple of stories about them in the last month or so. It's growing at a rate that, is kind of equal to where Facebook was Twitter and so on. Kids absolutely love this platform, and they love it because it's ephemeral. And so it's the entire business model of what Facebook and Twitter and all those guys do. They essentially rely on people.
All right, guys.
Ever and ever, and they can play back and what Snapchat is doing is saying, hey, here's the thing you can put on our application. It lasts 24 hours and it's gone forever. And it's just absolutely love that. It's the one thing that Facebook
That NASDAQ is just dragging these markets up. Remarkable. I'll come back to crude, but let me take a quick peek over here at the Dow. I'm going to hop up here. Held that 50. Popped up nicely there.
Well, it's a great question. So I think the way to look at this is if you think about the way all of us, the way we get the where everything was fun. And then along came social media and there was this thing where you could be published and it was really exciting and everyone jumped on it and they said, wow, I can share things with my friends all over. Look at teams today, they run up to the world where everything is always published. And now along comes Snapchat for the first time ever.
I agree. Yep. Crude is our market for today. It is our market for the day. Just need to be patient here, though, guys.
But there's this expectation that they could do a lot more with Messenger as a standalone platform.
Nope. I'm done with the baby's room. I got website work to do today. I have website work to do today. I am I'm building a page on technical analysis, and I'm improving the options program page. Hopefully in the next week or two we can have the option program done. I've been working on it forever, and it's really not a ton of work. It's just me just getting the fact of getting it done. And the technical analysis page is basically a bunch of snapshots of some chart patterns for us to watch as a group.
maybe get you guys a little more involved with what I have drawn on other monitors. And I try to keep this particular monitor, the training monitor, I try to keep it as clean as possible. Not too many drawings. I don't want to confuse people, but basically a technicals page that just shows you guys what I have drawn on other monitors, the type of patterns I look for, and how to measure the moves. How to measure, you know, if you have a wedge. We had a video or a webinar about a year ago on it, so you can look at the archives. But basically, if you form a wedge, how do you measure if it breaks out? How do you measure how far it's to go if it breaks out? You know, you can trade it. Like a lot of times you see me trade to the long side, and then I'll just stop. Why am I stopping? Well, a lot of times you got to measure that move, and that move will carry over measured moves. So we will trade pullbacks all the way up here till them highs. Most importantly, avoiding that original high, because that is the resistance. A lot of times you'll see it come back down. It pops up. Where do we see it going to? And there's measured moves that you can look for from a technical standpoint. And that's the type of page I'm looking for. That goes with flags. That goes with pennants. That goes with wedges, asymmetrical wedges, bullish wedges, channels, all kinds of stuff, you guys. There's all kinds of stuff that I'm putting together. And I'm just trying to get a little more training there. So, you know, if we talk about something like that, we can resort to it and have a nice picture or image that I have, you know, the measurements of, you know, what to look for and so on and so forth. It'll be it'll be easier to train and easier to identify if we have all that kind of there at our disposal, you know, not necessarily on the fly, but whenever the markets do it, we can quickly resort back to images. And I don't know about you guys, but I learn best from images. I really do.
Jumping into the original content game, one of the company's top executives will tell us why in a moment. Down some 30 points. Swap Valley continues. Goes away.
But a small company in business overnight. I really think that expanding what a new product or not. What if we embrace new technology instead? Imagine a company's future with the future of trade. Company profile, a research tool on Thinkorswim, and TV America. Your mom's got your back. Your friends have your back. Your dog's definitely got your back. It's got your back when you need legal help. We're legal. You know, in the last 10 years, we helped millions of people protect their families and run their businesses. We have the right people on hand to answer your questions, backed by a trusted network of attorneys. So visit us today for legal help you can count on. Legal City. Legal help is here. And a part of the training day.
Every move can impact your future. Sandy sees the one thing that every investor needs.
More power. CNBC's Power Lunch. Now a 2-hour block of nonstop news. Days, new opportunities. Amendment Ruler and Tyler Levis. Ryan Sullivan and Melissa Lee. Tracking the markets every move before you make yours. Power Lunch, 2 hours, 1 Eastern. Today's CNBC. I'd rather do anything else instead of the
What's today, the 11th?
Yes, Mike has used TrueCar, and TrueCar will show you how much others think you want and how much
You're got an appointment with an IRA expert. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss the damn thing.
Go to stamps.com/TV and never go to the post office again.
I don't spend as much. Yeah, I spend more time on individual accounts than IRAs, but I am definitely a hands-on IRA manager. Okay. But I have a call with a guy here at 1:30, and we're going to discuss whether or not I'm doing the right thing or not. My gold and silver IRA, basically one that I just trade precious metals in, and there's really no management to it. I've discussed it numerous times what I do with gold and silver. Just small amounts, dollar cost averaging in, and that's been going on for, can you believe it? It's 2015, guys. Man. Can't believe it's 2015. How crazy is that? Can you believe it? Man. I don't know about you, but I can't believe it. Back in 09, early 09 is where I started it.
Invest in America's oil. With Black Gold Resources, oil is the world's most prized natural resource. Even though lower oil and gasoline prices are in the news, the savviest investors continue to grow their portfolios with steady monthly income and up to 100% write-off their entire investment of ownership. The last time the oil prices collapsed, they recovered.
Well, the reason is I want to ask him about mine and then potential for Megan. She's got something through her work which I need to be more involved, but it's fairly new. And the only reason I did it through the work is because they match. And what they do is they match 50% of your investment. So the max that she can put in is 4% of a paycheck, and they will match 2%. And I'll do that every single day or every single paycheck till she retires. If they continue to do that, that's a no-brainer for me. That's free money. So if any of you guys have that opportunity, absolutely jump on that. That's free money. Even if your IRA sucks ass, there's a good chance that their matching is going to make up for anything. So if any of you ever have, I mean, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not telling anybody what to do. But often I get questions like this and asked. But if you ever get the opportunity to be matched in your IRA, please, please consider it, because that is free money. And some of you say, well, man, I can't. 4% is a lot. 4% is not a lot of your income. You know, anybody can find 4% of your income to set aside. And if people don't believe that, and some people say 10 or 20%, and then people say, well, I can't do that. I mean, it's impossible to live off of 80% of my income. Well, I'll agree. That is very difficult. That's a lot of money for some people, but I guarantee you could find it. I'm not telling you to do that. Basically, the topic I'm covering is if you have an employer that is willing to match, please do it. That's huge. And I'm not real positive. I'm not real in tune with Megan's retirement, and she had me set it up. I just set it up for the max, and because if they're ever willing to match anything, I'm going to do it. I don't even know where in the hell it's at, but I'm going to talk to them about doing an additional retirement for her. So, anyways, that's what I'm talking about. Guys, we're looking at these indexes. The S&P, the Russell, still kind of approaching their previous day's highs, but yet not really committing here at all. Not really committing here at all. From a 2-minute standpoint on the S&P, we're averaging about 5,200 contracts traded every 2 minutes. As you know, we've been discussing volume a lot more here recently. That is extremely low. Anytime we see a move to the upside, we're getting low volume. But on these internals, you see we're still staying very bullish or very bearish. So I'm sticking to my guns. If we don't fade this afternoon and see a tank in the markets, there's a great chance this thing's going to push higher. Nope, I'm not betting the farm on that. The volatility has not moved today. It's pretty much chopped its way sideways. So no movement yet in volatility. Crude oil's having a lovely little pullback. We better get over to crude because that's where we've been focusing all of our attention today. And here we are coming back up here, guys, on crude oil. We have a little bit of support or resistance here at the, I don't know, between these 45s and these 52s. So we got a little bit there at them 45 to 52s. So we're going to chop our way back up here, find some resistance. That would be very entertaining. Gold dropped and just has done nothing. So we've been kind of just waiting there. Okay. Microsoft, awesome pop up there. Are we filled there, Darlene? And City's done nothing, so I'm not sure. Not filled? Shit. What is Microsoft trading at right now? Would you say we did a 52 by 50s? I really just need to close this out count. All right, so we did the no, we didn't do that. That's in the City group. We do 43, 44s, 43, 42. I'm trading at a mid at 52. So we've got to be like 1 penny away. I think it was 51 is the number I remember. So we are getting close there, darling. If we can trade for 50, we should be filled. 75. Oh yeah. You're looking. Okay, yeah. We're looking at 52 half of trading that now. We gotta get down to around 50 so we can get a fill. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, guys, we are approaching this resistance here at about the 45 to 52 area. Decision time. That is right there at the 200 on the 2-minute chart, too. See what we're going to do here, guys. I'm contemplating a short here at the 45 to 50 area. Popped up to 50 just now. Popped up to 50 just now.
Private equity firm Partners reportedly in advanced talks to buy Chico. Retailer could be valued at $3 billion. Making it the largest leveraged buyout so far this year. And after nearly 40 years, the nation's top nutrition advisory panel has decided to drop reporting about eating high in cholesterol. The Dietary Guidelines Advisory Committee finds cholesterol in diets no longer needs to be considered a core nutrient.
Boy, we popped up there and dropped right down here to these 20s, didn't we? Holy moly. Pretty wild activity right now, guys. Pretty good activity. Look at them indexes.
Thank you, Sue. Microsoft's outlook has been stable on business PCs for years. Now, as the program heads to mobile devices, will it see the same success? Joining us for this review this morning, Ricoh's co-executive editor, Paul Prosper. Welcome over to you. Good morning, Carl. You make it clear in the review, just the sound of the words outlook on mobile sounds a little bit weird to some folks.
It sure does. I mean, outlook is a big, I would say some people think it's a loaded, complicated app on Windows and on Mac. And that's not obviously the kind of thing that works well on mobile. What Microsoft did is they bought a third-party company that had something that looked like it could fit the name Outlook, and they did some quick reworking and put the name Outlook on it and brought it out about a week ago.
Well, John Ford here. So this strategy from Microsoft, what you see in this kind of a conflict-derived mobile outlook, reminds me of the strategy Apple pursued with iTunes many years ago. At first, they were really focused just
Although I would point out that the biggest app they released, which is
Okay, guys.
So that was not one where they bought it from the outside, but
I'm looking somewhere around these 55s.
yeah, I mean,
So we're going to watch closely if we can get up near them 55s.
We all know they're struggling in their own local business, and not only the phones, but their software platform for phones, and yet they're being extremely aggressive about getting Microsoft apps out there for iOS and Android.
Well, from what Satya Nadella has told me recently, it seems like the model is they're already essentially giving away a lot of consumer apps because of piracy, because of the low prices that they need. They figure in the cloud era, they'll let people access it. They think that'll make them bring it into work, and that businesses
Testing this pullback. Very technical market right now on crude.
put out Word, Excel, PowerPoint, now Outlook on mobile. Will those inspire you as co-CEO of Recode to move your productivity operations on Microsoft?
I don't know. I think they're good. I mean, the review I gave out was one of a good review. Applaud the way they've integrated calendar, email, and file, cloud storage, and all that in there. There's a number of other features, and our reviews team also gave Office a good review. But it's an uphill battle for Microsoft because a lot of younger, smaller companies, which did not have a legacy investment in Office or PC, are just using Google
I'm on market.
and stuff like that. They have a battle on their hands in mobile, but I think the strength point has to be that the apps have to be good. This is a good app.
Well, we always say to belabor Apple, but since you're here and you know them so well, I'm just going to the news they've made over the past couple of weeks, right? The car sales, the solar farm, the promise of this distribution coming in April, the watch, Apple Pay on JetBlue. Have you ever seen them behaving and performing quite like this?
And they after, I think we all agree, a period of some uncertainty after the death of Jobs, I think they are.
I don't have any support at 62, Miguel.
It's hard to think of a company of that size being able to grow and be as active as they are. And a lot more.
Okay, here we are heading back up. See if we can push higher.
We'll see what happens. But
More so than payments in your view?
well, I'm one of those people. I've said this on this show before. I think the payments is underestimated by many people. I think it's potentially a big deal right now. It's just replacing kind of the last action in your payments process, which is the credit card, but they have the resources, both as in terms of the money they have, in terms of their position in retail. They have the resources to do a lot more with that if they chose to. So I think that's something to keep a close eye on. But I still think, Apple is still a company which specializes in the combination of hardware, software, and services.
All right.
Is in that space. So the watch has to succeed. And I've predicted here that I don't think it'll be a giant, success. It'll do very well right at the beginning, but it'll end up in the end of royalty to Apple. But it's going to be a while before I think.
Okay, guys, I'm going to put an order out here at the 59s. I may drop it down.
I think back to the last COVID conference and NEQ, they were saying that Apple had the biggest product cycle.
I may drop it back down if price shows us signs that we're going to hold these 55s.
I think they have we could argue about, he said the biggest.
Just front running this 50%. We got lots of support and resistance through here.
25 years, maybe bigger than it used to be, 25 years.
And we're touching the channel here. High of this descending channel on longer time frame.
Sales of the iPhone were unbelievable. So yeah,
It may be at resistance right now. I don't know. We're about to find out. We're about to find out.
Great to see you guys. All right, so John, Billionaire Media Group with John Malone, of course, at it again, shares of Film Studio, Lionsgate Entertainment are up in trade today, as our cable network Stars. It has entered into a stock swap agreement whereby John Malone and his affiliate will trade a 4.5% stake in Stars, carrying a 14.5% voting stake in exchange for a 3.4% stake in Lionsgate. Malone will also join the board at Lionsgate Studios. The deal is very much about content distribution and possible strategic opportunity. John, back over to you guys. All right, thanks, Tom. Up next, the state of Washington has a legal pot problem. Apparently, it has way too much. We'll tell you why in a moment. First, Rick Santelli, what do you watch today? Well, John, first we're going to bring up the old red ribbon and tie it around some yield curve trades. We're also going to talk about issuance. We're going to talk about issuance in a negative way.
All right, so we're putting in a sideways pattern here. We're going to pop higher one more time. Or we're going to pop higher one more time. I'm not necessarily looking for a home run. I'm just looking for a high probability resistance, something I can get a bounce off of, and then see how price trades. And if it's trading aggressively off of it, I'll allow to a little more room to move. If you don't see any aggressive selling there, then I will manage a little bit quicker. Pretty much the same way that we've been approaching the market so far today. Especially this crude.
What do you give this guy who's something shop for? Gift cards. What does that guy use to manage those gift cards? He uses gifts. So free app, you're uploading gift cards to your smartphone, so they're always linked.
What did the overworked mother of two do when she realized that she forgot to become a birthday gift? She uses gift. The digital gift card is free. Plus, when I buy a gift card, I'm writing points to give other future birthdays.
Download the free mobile app to get started. You get $5 free. We're in a place in our lives where we need investment. That's why we invest in tech.
We love it. Especially password. And at this point in our lives, it's breaking the music.
That's free.
Well, if you do an intraday, it depends. If you do today's highs and you're looking up here somewhere, what, around the 50, 20s, that would be today. So you're taking these highs, and this is the 618 here. So we're kind of running into resistance now. I took from that pop-up yesterday, a little pop-up we had, and drew a resistance here. Yeah. Fibs are something you got to work at. It's not something that just comes from reading a book or watching a video. There's a lot of experience to trading fibs. We're testing the low end of the micro channel. Be impatient here, guys. Waiting for that market to come up to us. Okay, Miguel. I'm looking for it to pop up a little bit higher before I get into it short. What level are you short from? Wow. Okay. When did you short? When did you short? That's a long time ago.
But I want you to look at the chart. Look at the chart starting a few days before January 30th. This is 10s minus 2s. What you'll notice is that steepening. Now, why would it be steepening? We covered for quite a while all the flattening that was going on. Of course, it was flattening. Initially, the catalyst was ultimately normalization of rates, including more sellers and short and more closely tied to the rates that the Fed has direct control over.
All right, guys. I'm looking for a little bit higher price than that. You've taken on a lot of heat then, haven't you? You've taken on 20, 25 ticks of heat.
So even though the curve may be steepening, it's still being driven in essence by the notion that there are still many who believe that the Fed is going to normalize rates. Why? Because even though the curve has steepened, it's steepened with rates moving higher in both cases.
Oh, you're asking Ninja Trader what the tick is? Yeah. I mean, in the meantime, you could probably just play with your ticks and see which ones match up closest to mine. But yeah, Ninja's definitely a goofball. They got a lot of different stuff that several charting packages don't have. Their ticks are way different. All right, guys, we're still down at minus 700 net issues, and the S&Ps are flat. Very interesting here. So, like I said earlier, I'm going to sit and watch this afternoon for a fade. If we do not get that fade, there's a chance that you're going to see this market start to get a pop higher, finally break out of this little range. That's going to be something I'm going to be very, very, very close here and watch very closely this afternoon.
Okay, let's crazy story. There is too much illegal marijuana in Washington, too few places to sell it, and because of high taxes, prices have come way down to compete with untaxed illegal medical marijuana, and growers like Tom Wow that are facing bankruptcy. The problem is there's been too much green sun in Washington. Unlike Colorado, you can grow cannabis outdoors here, and they have great growing weather. Also, Washington is being flooded by cheaper illegal crops in Florida and California, and the state gave out growers licenses more quickly than retail licenses, creating an imbalance, at least for now.
A lot of these guys can jump into this thing, and instead of going to the pros, they got their deputies and they delivered closet, said, hey, we can do this, and a lot of affiliates out there too.
All right, anybody have any questions on what I'm looking for? All right, guys, it's been an interesting ride this morning. We're able to make a little bit of money so far. So there's no complaints here. We're just waiting for these to move, man. It's been a pain in the ass. Look at these S&Ps. Still, look at this day, guys. If you guys are real curious, just take a look at today. Look how tiny this bar is. Look how tiny today's bar is. It is the third of the size of yesterday. We go back, we can't even see a candlestick that is the size of today at all. Since November, there's one here at Christmas. Probably not even a trading day, but it was equal size. So very, very, very tight range here. on the S&Ps. So very tight range here on the S&Ps. If you look at the open, we're going from the 60s basically up to the 65. So 5-point range here, maybe 6-point range, but that's it so far. So if you've been curious, why are we not been trading these indexes? Well, just go and take a look at the overall picture here, and it'll pretty much explain itself. It'll pretty well explain itself. Crude, I'm just being patient, not doing much. And a little bit of consolidation here. I'm curious if kind of pop up, test resistance, and drop, or what exactly is on the menu here. Any questions, guys? Kind of a quiet group, but that's what's to be expected when the markets aren't quite too volatile. That's to be expected. All you gotta do is run to the store real fast today. We go and buy some RAM. You just pick it up at your local store, whatever. Just pretty. That's an easy fix. That's a real short-term fix here. Man almighty. Okay, perfect, Miguel. What a pain. Look at this. Okay, Miguel. What a pain, guys. What a pain.
Yes, right now the closed system, so a health system can change from within itself. It becomes its own supply and demand system. Coheal is a turnkey solution, so yes, it's a technology play. We've also got a third-party logistics ecosystem, similar to how Uber operates. That actually specializes in real estate, special medical, population.
So what problem do you see this solving? Obviously, there's a budget question. A lot of hospitals refrain from buying some of the newer devices, newer technology.
Oh, just watching here at the moment. I don't know what's for lunch. Haven't decided yet. Might be a morning for me to take a ride. Not sure yet. Get the dog and go for a ride.
So if I'm a patient and this happens to a second quarter, people have to travel a couple hours to go to get a certain type of procedure done because that type of hospital didn't offer that type of option. That's really frustrating for patients.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep, no complaints. Guys, even though we're not, killing it right now in the markets, we're being very disciplined and very consistent with what we're doing. I mean, just look at what we've done here the last couple weeks. Just it's been tough to be disciplined, tough to stay patient because of the way the markets move. But I'm gonna cancel these orders. I'll put them back up if I feel they're appropriate. I just don't want to forget about them, guys. So I canceled them orders for right now. But look at what we've done today. We've been very disciplined. Initially, after the news, we took a nice pullback here. As this thing dropped, pulled back, we shorted that. Nice short there. Took too long. We weren't showing any selling yet, so we were risking the chance that it could come back up here before selling off. So we did what we did. We took some profits on it. Here again, next position, you can see we had some nice resistance come through here. We shorted that again. It had a lot of different things going on with the smaller time frame, the longer time frame, the 200 period moving average, the 50 on the longer time frame, plus some resistance here. So we took a nice opportunity there. We saw that we were holding the mid area here, so we weren't willing to risk it anymore because as it came down, we had 13 ticks locked in, popped back up here, and then started trading in this channel. So just very disciplined today. So thinking with a nice clear mind. It's a good feeling when you're trading to basically know that, hey, I really did well here following our rules. You guys have said some nice things here with the management side of things. There's different ways as traders. If you're somebody trading multiple contracts, scaling, whether it be scaling in or scaling out, whatever fits your needs, you may manage a little bit different. If you're trading all in, all out, I don't care if you're trading one contract or 5 contracts. If you're all in, all out, you kind of have the same mentality. And if you're doing that, I do believe you have to manage these things based on, based on volume, based on momentum here. If you're getting into a position, you see that your resistance held very nicely and you see some good selling there, give it a little bit of room. If your resistance holds and it's just kind of not going anywhere, it's just kind of stuck and you're not seeing any real sell-off or any buying or whatever, that means that there's not a whole bunch of support with you. So if you're trying to sell at a certain level and it's just kind of sitting there, that means there's not a lot of sellers sitting there waiting to, kind of jump on board with you. There's not a bunch there with you. So maybe tighten up your stop a little bit, maybe even take profits and wait for your next trade. All of it is just ways to keep you sane. Keep your head in the market. Keep your your mind open and fresh. So sure thing. Any questions here, guys? Just for an FYI, I always say whether or not I'm going to be here this afternoon. I have full intentions of working all day, all the way until 6 o'clock tonight. Got a lot of stuff to get done. May's going to get home about 6. So I'll probably work all the way until then. And if she goes to bed early, I may come back if I'm not sleepy. But if you see my Skype open, that means I'm here. So get a hold of me. If you have any questions, you want to send some charts, you want to talk about a position, several of you already use that. So I'm here for that. And I will tell you, if these indexes start to tank, I will be here with my finger on the mouse. But if they go nowhere, I'm going to be a little bit, well, I'll talk about it in the video tonight, but it's not looking good to the short side if you cannot have any pullback. You can't have any drop at all, and you have minus 1,200 on your net issues. That is not good to have no pullback at all. Okay. Let me look at Apple here. Apple's still pushing higher. It's at new highs now. This thing is going to be $150 stock again in no time, isn't it? That's the next stop for Apple. 150 bucks. What a remarkable company. But anyways, anybody have any questions at this point? Option traders, I'll keep you up to date. Looks like should be pretty close to being filled. Darlene, are we still pennies away, or are we filled? As soon as I close this room, I will pull up that particular account, but I use different charts for it. Let's see here. Let me check some prices for us real fast. Okay, we go. All right, darling, so we're close. Okay, we're close, guys. No big deal, Miguel. You're good. All right, guys. Any questions here before I go grab some lunch? Option traders, I will keep you guys posted whether or not I do anything, or if we get filled, you just know we're good to go. Let's see here. Bonds need to quit what they're doing. I know that. But we'll see here. All right, guys. Any questions? Any questions at all? I mean, I'll call it a good day. You know, made $100 here. I'm still going to be active this afternoon, especially if we can get some movement here. These markets, I'll be active this afternoon. But for right now, I'm going to take a little break and go grab some lunch. And until I get back, I'm not going to do much here. I'm looking over some final stuff here, making sure there's nothing that I'm going to do here into lunch, and I don't think so. So, guys, slow morning, but you know what? Still made some money. Still hopefully able to pick up on some good stuff here. I'm going to spend a day. Hopefully I can get maybe at least one page built, and we can go over some of that stuff tomorrow in here on the content, the training content that I'm hoping to have done soon. If the markets stay this quiet, it'll be a good day for me to get some work done. If they start to tank, I might get a little less work done, but I'm going to be trading like a machine here. So that's it, though, guys, for this morning. I'm going to grab some lunch, step away from the computer, refresh my eyes a little bit. But I will be back here this afternoon. If you want to hit me up on Skype or email, you can. But until then, I will see you guys tomorrow morning.